In episode 14, titled Coordinate Seamlessly with Physical Security Stakeholders, we position cyber-physical coordination as the missing seam that closes easy bypass paths and accelerates response when seconds matter. A door prop, a cloned badge, or a mislabeled camera angle can neutralize exquisite identity policies and pristine network segmentation in one quiet move. The Systems Security Certified Practitioner, spelled SSCP on first mention, thrives when building connective tissue between security operations and facilities so that people, process, and telemetry align. By the time we finish, you will have a practical picture of shared objectives, unified identity processes, integrated visitor handling, mapped sensors, joint responses, and drill-ready playbooks that make a building and its systems act like one defended surface. Start with shared objectives that are written, reviewed, and revisited in the same cadence by both teams. Build a combined risk register that names threats in plain language, records current controls on both sides of the house, and assigns owners who will present status by date. Meeting rhythms should be predictable, a short weekly sync for tickets and hot items, and a monthly review that trends alarms, tailgating incidents, forced door events, and cyber alerts that include physical pivots. When facilities leaders and the Security Operations Center, spelled SOC on first mention, speak to the same goals and stare at the same numbers, coordination becomes ordinary work instead of heroic effort after a surprise. Identity must move as one organism, which means badge provisioning and account access change together under a single approval chain. The joiner, mover, leaver sequence should open in one request, route to human resources, facilities, and identity teams simultaneously, and close only when both the badge and the account status reflect the same role and dates. Movers trigger zone changes for doors and group changes for systems in the same ticket. Leavers revoke access across readers and directories within a defined window measured in hours, not days. Evidence is simple and auditable. One request number, one approval chain, two systems updated within service levels, and a reconciliation report that shows zero stragglers. When identity is unified, tail risk from stale rights falls quickly. Visitor management is a microcosm of the whole program. It works when temporary physical presence and temporary logical access share one narrative. Pre-registration collects identity, purpose, host, zones, and any short-lived account requirements. On arrival, government identification is matched, a clearly marked badge is issued with discrete zone permissions, and escort rules are acknowledged. If a temporary account is justified for a demo station or a lab session, it inherits the visit's time box and auto-expires when the badge is returned or the appointment window closes. Activity logs tie the visitor's badge swipes and any system authentications to the same unique visitor record. That single thread, purpose to presence to privilege to proof, turns visitors from blind spots into safely handled exceptions. Sensors and systems must be mapped to playbooks in a way responders can actually use under pressure. Document where cameras sit, what each camera sees, which doors have readers and interlocks, and which rooms contain critical systems or jump hosts. Then link that map to incident workflows. A credential stuffing alert against a privileged identity should immediately suggest which doors and cameras to review for the corresponding time window. And a forced door alarm at a critical closet should open a case that prompts checks for console logins, out-of-band management activity, and configuration changes. The goal is straight lines. A physical event points to cyber signals and vice versa, and the map is the index that makes correlation routine. Joint response must be explicitly defined for tailgating, stolen badges, and forced entry, and it must include evidence preservation steps so root cause truth survives. Tailgating events trigger polite challenge language on the floor, immediate entry log review, and short-term camera bookmark creation for the exact period. Stolen badges cause instant revocation in the access system, a quick query for last use, and a scan for concurrent logins by the same identity in information systems. Forced entry invokes door alarms, camera clip exports with hash values, and a rapid inspection of nearby racks for tamper evidence. Every response captures who acted, what was preserved, and where the artifacts live for later investigation. Precision replaces improvisation when the steps are rehearsed. Deliveries, moves, and decommissioning require tight choreography so rogue hardware does not enter and data does not leak on the way out. Inbound packages are accepted against approved purchase orders with known models and serial ranges, quarantined if mismatched, and inventoried before they leave the dock. Devices leaving the site carry a ticket that lists sanitized or encrypted status, destination, and courier handoff with time and signature. Decommissioning begins with a joint checklist: remove from service, collect or wipe data, capture wipe certificates, pull asset tags, and confirm chain of custody for destruction or resale. Facilities provides the physical trail, security provides the data trail, and both sign off before the asset record closes. That dual signature keeps gaps from hiding in handoffs. Privacy, signage, and retention for cameras and access logs must align with legal requirements and cultural expectations, or the control will lack legitimacy. Closed-circuit television, spelled CCTV on first mention, coverage is disclosed with clear signage in monitored zones, and privacy-sensitive areas are excluded or masked. Access logs and footage retain long enough to support investigations and regulatory obligations, but not so long that storage and privacy costs balloon. Access to the logs is role-restricted, and every retrieval is recorded. Legal counsel signs the policy, facilities enforces placement and retention, and security enforces access and export discipline. When people know what is being collected and why, cooperation during incidents increases. Responders need floor plans, risk zones, and safe routes that are current, annotated, and available both during drills and real incidents. Plans mark restricted rooms, hazardous areas, muster points, emergency power shutoffs, and the fastest paths from lobby to critical closets or data rooms. Digital copies live in the incident platform. Printed copies live at reception and at the SOC. And drills confirm that night and weekend staff can find them without a hunt. During exercises, teams practice moving along the routes with radios checked, door access ready, and coordination phrases standardized. Familiarity with the map shortens the gap between an alarm and the first useful eyes on target. Physical change notifications should trigger cyber reviews by design, not by accident. A remodel, a door relocation, a ceiling plenum re-rack, or an electrical maintenance window can quietly break camera sightlines, reader coverage, cable labeling, or power redundancy that cyber controls expect. Establish a rule that any facilities change order that touches a controlled zone auto-notifies the SOC and the asset owners. The cyber side then reviews logging dependencies, alert thresholds, jump host locations, and emergency access plans. The reciprocal rule applies as well. Any new system in a new room opens a facilities work order to confirm door hardware, camera angles, power, cooling, and signage. 2 calendars, 1 posture. Clarity of roles prevents collisions and dropped balls, which is why you should write a single, responsible, accountable, consulted, informed model, spelled RACI on first mention, across alarms, maintenance, investigations, and after-action reviews. For a forced door alarm, facilities may be responsible for dispatch and on-site verification, security may be accountable for case ownership, reception is informed, and legal is consulted if evidence will be preserved for potential action. For maintenance, facilities is accountable for contractor escorts and power work, and security is consulted to suppress non-actionable alerts while preserving anomaly detection elsewhere. After-action reviews name both teams as responsible for evidence capture and contributor analysis, with executive leadership informed by a short findings note. When RACI is explicit, escalations feel routine. Measure outcomes that prove the partnership reduces risk and shortens response. Mean time to disable access for terminations and stolen badges, door forced alarms resolved within service levels, shared case closure time for incidents that span physical and cyber, percent of visitor sessions with full escort logs, and percent of remodels reviewed by both teams before construction begins are metrics that change behavior. Review the numbers monthly, tie misses to small fixes, and highlight wins so the organization sees value beyond anecdotes. The payoff is not a dashboard. It is a building that behaves as predictably as your best-run cluster. To make it tangible, walk a coordinated scenario from lobby to data room. A visitor arrives for a scheduled vendor maintenance window. Pre-registration matches their identification, a time-boxed badge prints with a visible escorted marker, and a temporary least privilege account activates with the same expiry as the badge. The escort guides them through turnstiles while anti-tailgating sensors chirp if bodies exceed swipes. Cameras at choke points log clear faces and timestamps. At the man trap before the data room, the system denies entry when the escort briefly steps away, preventing solo access. Inside, locked racks and tamper seals present a clean baseline. All actions are recorded on a maintenance ticket, and when the work completes, the escort verifies tool and media counts, the badge returns, the temporary account deactivates automatically, and the joint case closes with signatures from both teams. One narrative, many controls, zero surprises. We finish with a concrete directive that turns coordination into practice by a specific date. Build a joint tabletop invitation list that includes facilities leadership, the SOC lead, reception, legal, human resources, networking, and the system owner for one critical room. Add night shift representatives to ensure realism. Draft an agenda with 3 timed injects, a tailgating alert during a busy arrival, a stolen badge report mid-morning, and a forced door alarm near a critical closet, each requiring identity reconciliation, camera review, and evidence preservation. Specify evidence capture, badge logs exported with time ranges, camera clips hashed and stored, ticket timelines printed to PDF, and a 1-page after-action summary with decisions, timestamps, and owners. Put the drill on the calendar, attach the agenda and evidence template, and commit to a 15-minute readout the same day. Coordination becomes real when it is rehearsed, recorded, and repeated. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.